Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks on how to clutch out the end game in Fortnite and just how to not get those top 10 places or that second place, how to actually get the win very easily. I'm going to be covering a lot of those tips in this video, so make sure you guys do stay to the end. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and also subscribe to my second channel. The link for that will be in the description or the pinned comment. Turn on my post notifications and as well comment down below your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, if you guys would like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do is go over to the item shop, go down to support a creator, type in my code is Younghumor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator. I really do appreciate all you guys who do add me. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to be talking about the end of the game in Fortnite and exactly how to win it very easily. So I have about 2 gameplays in this video that I want to talk about towards the end on exactly what I did to clutch up the game. I had a pretty clutch revive during the storm, as you guys will see in just a minute, but there are some few key things that I want to touch on when it comes to the end of the game that I want to talk about, including stuff like rotation, just exactly what to do that's just going to give you the best chance possible to win the game very easily. It wasn't like a crazy high kill game. I wish I could have got like a 16 or 17 kill, but towards the end I played it very smart. And this game in particular, it ended towards Polar Peak, which is probably one of the worst, probably the absolute worst spot for one of the zones, just because it's such a bad location. You have like huge, icebergs that are super tall, and then you have like an area that's super low, and you have a bunch of people just camping and spraying down at you, and there's really not much you can do unless you have a ton of materials and a couple launch pads. But in this game I didn't even have a launch pad, I think I maybe had like one, so I wasn't able to use them too much, and it was just overall a pretty big disaster. So I ended up getting a few kills, grabbing some loot, and now I'm going to be heading towards the zone. So throughout the entire game, well, especially towards the end of the game, one thing that's very important that you have to just keep in mind is you really just have to understand exactly kind of the location. So for instance, in Polar Peak, it's a lot different having an end game in Polar Peak versus having one in like Salty Springs or like Retail or like Pleasant Park. Very different depending on exactly where you are. So you kind of have to know exactly where the best location to be at, so positioning wise, and on top of that you have to keep in mind when it comes to mat count, your heals, and anything like that. So in this game I actually had like barely any mats, so I had a pretty decent amount of mats right here. I revived my teammate, and the second I got out of the zone I ended up getting shot by a bunch of players, but one of the players placed a launch pad, so he ended up going exactly to the next zone. So here in the next zone I barely had any mats at all, so once I get out of the zone here I'm just popping a couple of bandies, so a really clutch play to be honest with you. So got one bandage off, got out of the zone, got a campfire, we ended up getting sprayed at. So here, as you can see, I lost a lot of my materials, so I only had about 300 mats. I killed another guy coming out of the zone. He basically had like 20 mats, barely had anything. So when you're at something like that, you want to try to avoid as much shooting as possible, which means even if you have a wide open shot on another player, sometimes it really isn't the best option to take. Well, if you do have a lot of mats, it can be very good. So in an instance like this, if I had a launch pad, I would 100% use the launch pad, jumped on top, and then fought the players very quickly, because I did notice the zone was coming in, but I fought a lot of my gunfights very fast, and if you are able to do that, you can take the advantage and the role of using launch pads, playing against people very quickly, because I guarantee you if I had a launch pad, jumped up there, killed that team very fast, I would have been stacked on HP, I would have been stacked on materials, because I would have killed the entire team. So different things like that can give you such an advantage. If you are a low on mats, I'm not talking like super low, but you at least have like 300 or so, maybe 400, and you see another team that's on high ground, you can use a launch pad to go for height, and once you kill that team, you're going to get stacks, you're going to get full HP, you're going to get full mats, and that's going to give you the advantage to win in the late game. Unfortunately in this game I wasn't able to do so because I didn't have a launch pad, and most games you are going to have one though, and it's just in particular I just wasn't able to get one in this game. But as you can see, it did play a huge factor, because like I said, if I would have been able to kill that team, I would have been so stacked and this game would have been 10 times easier to win. So that could be a really good tip for you guys as well, to always make sure you keep at least one launch pad if possible. Of course, if you ever need to use it, then of course you can, but I would at least try to keep one launch pad in your inventory, just because it's just so crucial and really can be a game changer, especially in the late part of the game. If you're ever low on mats and need to go for high ground, that could be your go-to item to use, and it works super well. Very good, and it does save you a lot of times. It would have definitely saved me. It made it super hard. I had no materials. My HP was kind of decent at best. I had 120 or like 130. I barely had I didn't have a lot of HP. I had just enough, so pretty much I was using whatever cover that I can, just right hand peeking my corners, able to finish off that team. And now it was a 1v1, and this guy was just sitting up here trying to get a snipe on me. And when it comes to people with snipers, especially in a situation like that, it usually isn't the best option to try to go for a shot. So he jumps down, I end up finishing him off my SMG and getting the win in that game. So I played it very, very well, just showing you how many mounts I had. And of course, when I talk about going for a lot of kills in a situation like that, it would have been almost impossible to drop the entire end of the lobby without having the materials that I did, without having a launch pad. So when it comes to going for high kill games, if you guys ever want to, it can be very difficult to do so in some games. Because for instance, in that game, there was just no possible way with the loot that I had to go and kill the entire lobby without having, I mean, it would have been a very low % chance of me doing it. Even though I play this game a lot, I'm pretty good at it, but even for myself, I probably would not have been able to pull it off. Would have been super difficult just because I had barely any mats and I didn't have a launch pad or anything like that. So clutching on the lobby would have been very difficult. So some games you do have to sacrifice the amount of kills you get just to get a solid win, and that's just what happens in a lot of games. So I like to go for a lot of high kill games, but sometimes I just can't because of the loot that I have. So always making sure to hold a launch pad and just trying to get the best loot as you can really set you up and give you a lot of easy end games, game after game. So here, going into the late part of this game, I had a full team that was rushing above me. I ended up knocking one. A teammate was above. I think his other teammate was a little bit in the distance, but I almost got the kill on this player too. I ended up missing one of my pump shots, and he tried to go for a trap kill on me, so I ended up dropping down. And since I was at the bottom here, the zone was coming in. I think it was about to take 5 as soon as it closed, so I ended up just using a launch pad, which was very, very useful. Otherwise, I would have taken a ton of damage getting out of the zone, and if there would have been a full team on me, I would have just lost so much HP coming out of the zone. So the launch pad did save me again right there. So here I am. I actually have a little bit more mats than last game. I had about 700 materials, so that gives me a lot more room. And when it comes to loot at the end game of materials, HP, and everything like that, it really just comes down to the options you can do, because the less HP and the less stuff that you have, the less options you can do. So the more you have to play more defensive and not really on the attack. You can't go for a lot of kills, which if you are able to get a lot of kills at the end of the game, trust me, you're going to get so much HP so fast. You're going to be able to kill players extremely quickly and also very, very easily, because you have a lot of materials, you have a lot of heals, so going for kills is going to be that much easier. So here I'm going to get spammed by the player that's in front of me, and I make a pretty bad decision. I probably shouldn't have went for the shot there. I should have just backed off in the first place. Lost quite a bit of HP, so now I'm rotating to the zone. I end up dropping down to give myself a better angle. My teammate ends up knocking this player, go for the quick finish, and the reason why I did is because I wanted to grab the loot that he had. He had a launch pad, couple minis, which was definitely helpful. So the second I got in the zone, I'm able to get off that mini and then push the rest of his team. And that's just another thing that can be very useful, especially for Arena 2 at the end of the game. Don't be afraid to just run to the zone, especially if the loot's just in the zone. You're better off going into the zone, grabbing the ton of material and ton of, if there's minis in there, big shield, you're better off going in there, sacrificing yourself maybe 5, 10, 15 HP to grab all of that loot. It's going to be way better off. In Arena mode, of course, you have HP per kill, but in public matches, it's still very worth it, especially if you need materials. You have a way better chance of winning the game with a lot of materials and slightly less HP than just to have a little bit more HP and then no mats at all. So that's something to keep in mind and can give you such a good advantage, especially in Arena mode, but because that just happens a lot more than pubs, because pubs really doesn't get down that far too often, but if it ever does, that is something that can be very useful. So I mean, it could even be like a second circle or third circle. It can be much more useful to go into the zone, grab the extra loot, than to have the fullest HP possible and then to have no loot. So that's just something that you guys can use to give yourself a very good advantage. And I've seen a lot of pros do this. I used to never do this, and I started watching pros, see them do it all the time, and it works out very well. And with that being said, that's a wrap up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on my notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.